It's Thursday, October 18th, 2018. Time for V10 Sports. And it's time for the week 6 or 7. We're in week 7. Wow. We're already in week 7. We're almost halfway through the NFL season. Where's it going? It's like CFL season's almost over. We're almost halfway through the NFL season. It's going too fast. It's going too fast. And my Broncos are terrible. They're just terrible. Actually, they're not terrible. Their coaching is terrible. The team is pretty good. I'm sorry. There's some real good players on that roster. And the coaching is awful. And they play tonight. That's the first game. It's Denver at Arizona. The Broncos playing the Cardinals. Now, the Broncos are getting 1 whole point, which tells you how highly everybody thinks of the Broncos right now. This team's a mess. They lost Leary for the season, one of their offensive linemen. The offense is not clicking real well. The defense is pedestrian at best, only because the play calling is mundane. It's the same old, same old. Now, here's the thing. If Arizona beats Denver tonight, I believe Vance Joseph will not survive that. That would be 5 losses in a row. They had this problem last year. They started out 3-1 and then lost like 8 straight. Well, they won their first 2 games. If they lose tonight, that'd be 5 straight losses. They've got 4 right now, and they're not looking good. They've managed to keep some of these games close. They played Kansas City tough, but they gave it up late. Because the defense, Joe Wood is not calling a good defensive game. Kept kept Mahomes on the ropes for most of the game, and then, Andy Reid and his offensive people made the adjustments, and Joe Wood didn't. Joe Wood just said, "I'm going to keep doing the same thing over and over again." It's like, yep, Andy Reid's made adjustments and they're killing us. Keep doing the same thing. That's what worked early. No, Joe Wood, you have to keep making adjustments. You have to adjust to what they're adjusting to. You have to prepare for that. You have to prepare for the fact that they're not like you guys and they actually change as the game goes on. Joe Wood, Vance Joseph don't do that. They don't adjust as the game goes. They have a game plan, they stick to it, and they don't deviate. The problem is when another team adjusts to what you're doing and they start beating you, you have to adjust to them. The game is not just played with 2 game plans at the start of the. You have to adjust if they adjust. Because otherwise, if they adjust and they start succeeding and you don't, and you keep doing the same thing, they're going to beat you. And that's what's been happening to Denver. So Denver is at Arizona. Arizona they haven't been playing that great, neither is Denver. Neither one of these teams is playing great. Both of them have given solid efforts, but it's a tough game to pick. I think Vance Joseph saves his job for 1 more week at least. I think Denver has more talent than Arizona, but I will not be surprised if Arizona wins. I won't. To me, Denver and Arizona Denver, I think, has more talent. I think Arizona might be better coached. But that equalizes them. That makes them that makes the Broncos the 1-point favorite because it's not like I think the Arizona Cardinals are that much better coached. I just think they're better coached than Denver. But I think Denver's got the better players. But I'll take the Broncos. Now, when I go through these, I go through them quick. Now, Denver, I just know a lot about because that's my team. So, I know as much as a fan would know. I'm not a journalist or anything. I know what a fan would know. So now we're going to get into the Sunday games. I just go off. This is the first time I'm seeing these. So we're just going to just rattle them off. I don't keep track of this thing because I have a feeling if I did, I'd be very disappointed in myself. So we're going to get Tennessee at the Chargers. Tennessee, you bug the crap out of me. When I think it's like when I start picking Tennessee to win, they lose. The Chargers, I picked them. I can't deal with this. I'm going to take the home team, Chargers, just because both of these teams tick me off. It's like when I pick them to win, they lose. When I pick them to lose, they win. Well, one of them has to win. Oh my God, it's going to be a tie. Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville looked like garbage last week. Jacksonville looked like stir-fried crap. This where was the Saxonville defense last week? Houston hasn't been playing super great. Will Jacksonville bounce back this week? I'm going to say Jacksonville bounces back this week and gets the win. Not by much. Houston's playing a little bit better, but not super, super great. I think Jacksonville bounces back. Cleveland at Tampa. Cleveland also a little bit disappointing last week. At Tampa, who's a lot disappointing. I'll take Cleveland. Carolina at Philadelphia. Two teams that are, I thought would be doing way better than they're doing, especially Philadelphia. Carolina in Philadelphia. Philadelphia might be getting their groove back. I'll take Philly. Minnesota at the Jets. I don't know what to think. All I know is that at 3-2-1, the Minnesota Vikings 3-3 against the Jets. 3-2-1. You paid a quarterback an awful lot of money to be 3-2-1. And honestly, you could have been 3-3 yourselves with the Jets, who just picked their quarterback, and he's costing them a lot less. Although someday he's going to cost them a lot more. But, I'm going to say the kid gets it. I'm going to say the cheap rookie beats the expensive, mediocre veteran. Jets to beat the Vikings. Even though the Vikings are getting 3.5 in that game. That might be a sucker's bet right there. Detroit at Miami. Detroit is favored. Miami, have they looked at this? Miami's 4-2. It's a weird thing to think that. Do you really think? I mean, if you're not a Dolphins fan, you probably don't realize that Miami is 4-2. They have the same record as the Patriots at this point in the season. It's not like they're both 1-0. 6 games in, the Dolphins have the same record as the Patriots. But Detroit is getting 3 points over Miami, and Detroit is 2-3. Last week Brock Osweiler actually played pretty decent for the Dolphins. Whether or not he's still going to, I can't remember if Tannehill's actually going to be back in there. But I think if Brock Osweiler plays again, Detroit has all week to prepare for him. I'm going to take the upset here. Well, actually, it's not an upset. They're picking Detroit with 3 points. I'm going to go with the odds makers on this one. I'm going to take Detroit. I think Matt Patricia, being a defensive guy, and he has all week to prepare. If it's Osweiler playing, he has all week to prepare, and Tannehill's not that great anyway. So I'm gonna take Detroit. I'm gonna take Detroit, as the road favorite. Now New England is taking on Chicago. Chicago 3-2. New England, like I said, 4-2. New England. New England's got the 2.5-point favorite over Chicago. Khalil Mack is the kind of a player. He's like Von Miller. He can give Brady fits. And New England has found its stride again. They're doing it, man. They're playing extremely well again. Because once they got punched in the mouth, you woke up the Brady monster, and he just remembered, it's like, I'm better than you, and I will win. I will win the rest of my games. You're still going to be 14-2. You're not going undefeated. Sorry. Not going to happen for you. But New England at Chicago. I'm going to go with Chicago. I'm going to take the little bit of the upset there. Buffalo at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is getting 7.5. 7.5. And they're playing like garbage. But they're getting 7.5. I'm starting to think Indianapolis might be the team that gets the first pick in the draft if it's not the Giants. But Buffalo at Indianapolis. Indianapolis getting 7.5. I'll take Indy. I won't take 7.5 though. I think Buffalo is better than that. New Orleans at Baltimore. This is a 4-1 New Orleans, 4-2 Baltimore. Is this one of those games where Drew Brees gets the road victory against the Ravens? The Ravens still only have Joe Flacco. Drew Brees is playing really good this year. I'm going to go road win on this one. I'm going to take New Orleans to win it. Dallas at Washington. I would love for Washington to be able to pull off this victory. I really would. But Dallas played good last week. Dallas put up some points. Washington still has Alex Smith. And last I checked, he still only throws the ball 3 yards in front of him and just hates to throw it any further than that. I'm going to take Dallas. I think Dallas is starting to turn it around. The Rams are favored by 9.5 at San Francisco. San Francisco played tough in Green Bay last week. 9.5 is too many points, but if we're just taking win over loss here, I think the Rams will win this. 9.5 might be a little bit too big. C.J. Beathard's playing better than I thought he would, but the Rams played really good last week. But the Broncos held it in with them, hung in there with them. I'm going to take still the Rams. The Rams should win this and stay undefeated. But it is a divisional game. San Francisco gives division teams fits. Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City's getting 6. I'll take 6 all day against Cincinnati because I just don't believe in the Bengals. Even though they have a good record at 4-2, I just don't believe in the Bengals. So that takes us to the Monday night game. The New York Giants at the Atlanta Falcons. This is easy. Giants are the worst team in football because they won't bench Eli Manning. Take the Falcons. Take the Falcons in 14.5. I don't care. There's too many problems on that Giants team. Eli Manning is done. He doesn't have a defense as good as Peyton's defense was when Peyton won his Super Bowl when he was playing terrible and his arm was shot and he didn't have the accuracy. The brain was spectacular, but the body couldn't do it anymore. He doesn't have that defense that had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware in the no-fly zone. He doesn't have a defense that good in New York. But Saquon Barkley, what a player. Holy smokes, but it's not going to be enough to beat the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. And Eli Manning can't throw the ball deep anymore. He's just like his brother now. His arm is pretty much gone. He just doesn't have it. He's been slowly declining for the last 5 years. Last year you really saw it, and this is the culmination of it. This should be Eli's last year, and I wouldn't keep playing him the rest of the season. I would throw in whatever backup you got there just to throw him in there. Maybe go for the first pick in the draft. I know that New York fans are going to freak out if you do it, but let's face it, you're not going to win with him. So why not see what you have as a young quarterback on the bench like they tried to do last year, but the coach got blasted for it. Try it again, because Eli can't keep playing this badly. The Giants have spent a lot of money to get offensive linemen, wide receivers, defensive players. They spent a lot of money to help Eli out, and it hasn't benefited them because Eli can't do it anymore. Eli to me, he's going to go down as he might be the best Giants quarterback of all time. And maybe Phil Simms, of course, Phil Simms is absolutely in that conversation, but Eli may be the best one. He really may be. And he's always going to have the couple of magic plays in the Super Bowls, and he's always going to have the 2 Super Bowl rings. But Eli, it's time to hang it up, buddy. It's time to hang it up. Giants are going to lose this game. Atlanta will win. So, those are the picks for Week 7 of this NFL season. And with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, or future, thanks for the freedom.